Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Even if a man is poor, he should not endeavor to improve his economic condition just to maintain his body and soul together or become a famous religionist. Just as a great python, although laying in one place, not endeavoring for its livelihood, gets the food it needs to maintain the body and soul, one who is desireless also obtains his livelihood without endeavor. Responsibly. Even if a man is poor, he should not endeavor to improve his economic conditions just to maintain his body and soul together, or to become a famous religionist. Just as a great python, although laying in one place, not endeavoring for its livelihood, gets the food it needs to maintain body and soul, one who is desireless also obtains his livelihood without endeavor. Purport. Human life is simply meant for developing Krishna consciousness. One need not even try to earn a livelihood to maintain body and soul together. This is illustrated here by the example of great python, which lies in one place, never going here and there to earn a livelihood to maintain itself, and yet maintained by the grace of the Lord. As advised by Narad Muni, Bhagavatam 1.5.18. Tasyeva heto prayateta kavidah. One should simply endeavor to increase his Krishna consciousness. One should not desire to do anything else, even to earn his livelihood. There are many, many examples of this attitude. Madhavendra Puri, for instance, would never go to anyone to ask for food. Shukdev Goswami has also said, Kasmad bhajani kavayo dhana durma dandham. Why should one approach a person who is blind with wealth? Rather, one should depend on Krishna, and he will give everything. All the members of Krishna consciousness movement, whether they be grahasthas or sannyasis, should try to spread Krishna consciousness movement with determination, and Krishna will supply all necessities. The process of ajgara vritti, the means of livelihood of a python, is very much appreciated in this regard. Even though one may be very poor, he should simply try to advance in Krishna consciousness and not endeavor to earn his livelihood. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, we should understand what is going on here. Who's speaking to who and why? Who can tell us who's speaking this verse? Anyone can tell us who's speaking this verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam? Prabhuji. Narad Muni. Sri Narad Muni is speaking this verse to who? We need a different respondent. Yes, to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And why? It's a sacrifice. Okay. So what is happening? In the Canto 7, Parikshit Maharaj actually asks the question to Shukdev Goswami that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or Vishnu is the word that's used, he is equal to everyone. Then how come he goes out of his way to protect the demigods and to punish the asuras? He is the Supreme Father. To him everybody is the same. Why does he get envious? Why is he partial? He should be non-partial. So, Shukdev Goswami tries to explain some qualities of the Supreme Personality, namely Lord Vishnu in this reference. And then Shukdev Goswami says, well, actually, the same question was asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj of Sri Narad Muni. When was it asked? At the time when the Pandavas were performing the Rajasuya Yagya. When the Pandavas were performing the Rajasuya Yagya, they decided, because the Brahmanas would tell you that if you want to have a Rajasuya Yagya, you have to have somebody who's going to be the head of the whole assembly of everybody who's present. In Sanskrit, it's called Agrim Puja. Who's going to be the topmost personality, who's going to be worshipped first. So the Pandavas chose Lord Krishna for that purpose. And when the Pandavas chose Krishna, there was also in the assembly was also what's his name? Dantavakra's brother, Shishupal. Shishupal was also there. And Shishupal did not like the idea. And he started to yell out, oh, this Krishna is a cowherd boy. We have the assembly of so many learned people and so many very chivalrous, very brave and big warriors here. And this guy, he leaves the battlefield. He abandons the battlefield. He is a coward. and so on and so forth. He went on criticizing, fault finding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna had given a promise to his aunt, whose son Shishupal was, that I will forgive Shishupal of 108 offenses. So everybody was asking, looking at Krishna, that he's not doing anything or saying anything to all these bad words that Shishupal is throwing at him one after the other. What did Krishna say? I'm counting them all. 108, and that's it. So when he finished 108, Krishna called the Sudarshan Chakra and killed Shishupal in front of the whole assembly, right there in the middle of kind of a living room. And when Shishupal was killed, everybody who was assembled was able to see that the soul came out of Shishupal's dead body and visibly went towards Krishna and just merged in Krishna's body. So at this, everybody was surprised that this guy, he's like a demon. And he is getting this Sayuja Mukti, which is so hard to attain, even for devotees. So, how come he gets this kind of benediction in a way? So, Yudhishthira Maharaj was very curious to find out, and Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Narad Muni, who was also present at that time, that why is this going on? How come this personality like Shishupal, who's so offensive to Krishna, actually gets to merge in Krishna's body and gets a Sayuja Mukti? So Narad Muni is in turn explaining, starting from the middle of the first chapter almost, and explains about Jai Vijay, who were the doorkeepers of the Vaikuntha planets, and how they got cursed by the four Kumaras. Who are the four Kumaras? Who knows the names of four Kumaras? Newer devotees? Okay, Prabhuji. Sanat Kumar, Sanatan, Sanak, Sanandan. So the four Kumaras who were going to visit the Vaikuntha Dham were stopped by these two doorkeepers called Jaya and Vijaya. And they were cursed by the Kumaras. And the first birth they took after being cursed was two personalities known as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. They were born as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu actually have some kind of a strange birth, that Hiranyaksha is older, Hiranyakashipu is younger, but Hiranyakashipu is born first, so that makes him older and Hiranyaksha younger. Nevertheless, Hiranyaksha was a very, very humongous personality. And he stole the earth from the planetary system and took it down into the Garbhodak ocean and hid it there. So the Lord had to incarnate as Lord Varaha to go down to the Garbhodak ocean and rescue the earth. Hiranyakashipu was not present at that time, and after rescuing the earth, Lord Varaha killed Hiranyaksha. So, when Hiranyakashipu found out, the whole family is lamenting for his brother, and Hiranyakashipu takes a vow to kill Vishnu, because he thought that it's Vishnu who has done this to my brother, so I'm going to take a vow to kill Vishnu. The assembled demons were instructed by Hiranyakashipu. The demons engaged in disastrous activities. Demigods wander the earth unseen. Hiranyakashipu pacifies his nephews and he tells them the history of King Suyagya. And Hiranyakashipu makes a plan to become immortal. And he goes and performs tapasya. He performs tapasya for thousands of years. And he gets Brahma to appear and attains some boons from Lord Brahma. What are those boons? Inside or outside? Neither day nor night. Neither by somebody who's created by Brahma, nor by somebody who's not created by Brahma. And not by any weapons. And no animal and no human. Not on the ground, not in the air. So virtually tries to become invincible. It is practically impossible for anyone to kill me, is what he's thinking. And when he comes back from tapasya, Prahlad is born. Sometimes people ask this question, that when Hiranyakashipu was away for thousands of years, how did the mother of Prahlad conceive Prahlad? Was actually conceived before he went on tapasya. Kayadu was his mother's name. And when the demigods, Indra and all, were kidnapping Kayadu, she was rescued by Narad Muni. And the first thing she asked of benediction from Narad Muni is to please protect my child in my womb and not have him take birth until his father comes back from tapasya. So Narad Muni took her to this ashram where he lived. And she had Prahlad in her womb and was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day. So Prahlad had all this time to hear and learn Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prahlad Maharaj would actually debate with his father when his father would say, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What mantra should everybody be chanting? Om Namo Hiranyakashipu Devaya instead of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Hiranyakashipu Devaya. Something like that. And Prahlad would debate with him. So, as Lord Nrsingadev comes and takes care of Hiranyakashipu, keeping all his conditions, Prahlad Maharaj gives some instructions. And Narad Muni is further explaining as to how Krishna protects his devotees and how he takes care of the demons. But at the same time, he is also not partial to anyone. Shri Radha Gokula Nanda ki, Ram Lakshman Sita Hanuman ki. So after Narad Muni explains everything about these different personalities, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, and explains that this Shishupal and Dantavakra are also the same personalities as Jai Vijay, who in Satyug took birth as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu and so on. Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to know more. So he asked some questions to Narad Muni, and Narad Muni told him more about the 4 social classes. What do we call them? The 4 Varnas. Then he, in chapter 12, he tells them about 4 ashramas. And then in chapter 13, he explains about the behavior of a perfect person. In chapter 14, the ideal family life. That's where we get the Grahastha Ashram or Graha Medi. And then in chapter 15, he's giving instructions for civilized human beings. So in the civilized human beings, he told Yudhishthira Maharaj about offering food to the Lord and his devotees, slaughtering of animals for religion and food, the 5 branches of pseudo-dharmas that we've been discussing last few days. What are they? Paradharma, Vidharma, Ugra Dharma, Chala Dharma, and Chala Dharma. So after explaining all the pseudo-dharmas, Narad Muni is explaining as to how the Ajgar Vritti works and how Krishna provides everything. There is a famous verse in India. It's called Ajgar kare na chakri, panchi kare na काम, दास मलूका कह गए सबके दाता राम. What that means is Ajgar or the python doesn't do anything, doesn't work for anyone, doesn't serve anyone, does not beg from anyone, does not go to work. Also the birds, they don't have a job. But they still maintain their body and soul together. Why and how? Because the provider is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He provides everyone. So we should not be over endeavoring to just to make ends meet. There is also a story about that in the Vedas. Sorry, not in the Vedas, in the Hitopadesh. There is this wealthy person. He used to be around a few hundred years ago. Wealthy people did not have very much to do with their wealth. There was not so much available to indulge into sense gratification. And if they had any kind of paropkar, if they were any kind of paropkar minded, social service, what they would do is they would take a vow that in the morning I would feed so many hungry people before I accept my own breakfast. So, depending upon how wealthy the person is, he would take a vow to feed that many people before he would accept his own breakfast. Some would say 100 people, some would say 500, 1,000, so on. It was also like a status symbol that if you are somebody who feeds 10,000 people before accepting your breakfast, it's very understood that you're a very resourceful person. So this one Sethji, one rich man, who had taken a vow to feed somebody, some hungry person before accepting his own breakfast. One day, although every day there was no problem finding a hungry person, somebody or the other beggar would come around. And the beggars also knew. They know all the places where to go in the morning. But one fine day, no beggar showed up. Nobody. So he sent his servants, go find somebody. I cannot eat until I feed someone. The servants went around all over the place asking people, are you hungry? Do you want to eat? Can you please come to our house? And nobody agreed. So this person goes out himself, pulls out his vehicle, whatever, Ghoda Gadi, Bel Gadi, goes to the outskirts of the town to find a hungry person. He finally finds one person who was 64-year-old, brings that person down to his house, serves him prasadam very nicely, big plate full of everything. And this person looks at it and right away jumps into the plate and starts to eat. But the wealthy man stops him. Oh, what are you doing? You don't say your grace. You don't thank God for food. You don't make an offering. You don't go around like that with the water and leave a little bit for the bird or anything like that. And none of the formality of accepting prasad. You do none of that. How come? This person says, well, I don't believe in God. I am an atheist. I don't think God exists. So why should I offer to God if I don't think God exists? But that made this person very mad. The rich man said, you don't believe in God? Get out of my house. I don't need anybody like you around here. It doesn't let him eat, kicks him out. But now, he is also taken a vow to not eat until he feeds somebody. By the time all this happened, almost the whole day had gone. So now this rich man is actually going to bed without eating anything all day because of his vow. He found that person was so mad, kicked him out. So at night, God comes to his dream and very nicely, blowing his own horn, he is telling God the story about what happened today. You know, God, this person I found today, I brought him all the way from Nottingham or something, down to my house to feed him. He was hungry. And he doesn't believe in you. So I kicked him out. I did not feed him. Although because of that, I had to myself remain hungry all day and didn't get anything to eat all day. But I still didn't feed him. Why? Because he did not believe in you. So in his mind, he's thinking that he did God a favor by not feeding this person who actually doesn't believe in God. Then it was God's turn to speak. He said, my dear, say it. You know how old that person is? I said, yeah, he's 64 years old. You know, he's 64 years old and he has not believed in me since the day he was born. And he is being a homeless, penniless bum on the street for 64 years. And I have fed him 3 meals a day for 64 years. I have made the arrangement that this guy gets his meal 3 times a day for 64 years. You could not give him 1 meal? So that opens up this person's eyes because he is too much into false ego. I am the one feeding. It's not really me who's feeding. It's Krishna who's making arrangement for everyone. He is the one who feeds everyone. He is the one who takes care of everybody. We can spend all our life trying to accumulate. In Hindi they say, सामान 100 बरस का है, 2 पल की खबर नहीं. We accumulate for such a long time in the future, and if we're going to be living the next moment or not, who knows? But we accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. Any questions?